tell you're getting good at drawing Cerebus.
I sent it to David Birdsong, and he said the exact same thing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm really getting good at Photoshop. That's
You actually photoshopped it right out of Volume 1?
I took my copy of Volume 1, and I went, I know there's Cerebus with a bunch of gold. It'll be a perfect image, and I got to issue 11, and I'm going, there's 2 panels that'll work. One of them is going to require a lot more work than I want to put in, so we're going to go with the other one.
We'll go with this one. There you go. There you go.
But in the original, there's white spots from the light source, and I learned how to use the clone tool to clone the tone, and I'm like, this is really neat. I'm so happy now. In about 80 years, I'll be almost as good as Sean.
Well, I'll tell you, and Janice Pearl and Bill Bullwinkle will be way behind on their studies because Dad's using the computers for drawing aardvark comics.
No, we have multiple computers, so they can still do it. But they're out of school now. Janice's teacher came by today and gave her end-of-the-year goodie bag. So she's officially graduated and going on to the 4th grade.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, I think that covers, as far as I know, that was all I had to say. I really think the only thing that has changed in terms of jurisprudence going all the way back to the Magna Carta is the cell phone thing. The fact that the more cell phones are used publicly to establish this is what actually happened, this is what this person was saying, and this is what this person was doing, because you can't fake the kind of cell phone footage that you're talking about in that situation, then I think that changes habeas corpus. There's no point in going through a trial as if we need to get as many witnesses as we can, and we need a prosecuting attorney, and we need a defense attorney, and we need a judge, and we need a jury, and we need 8 to 10 month trial to determine guilt or innocence. The guilt's already been established. You don't have to show that footage with a little subtitle on it, alleged perpetrator. It's not an alleged perpetrator. He did it. We're looking at this is a snuff film, which back in the 1970s it was. Man, I can't even imagine what it'd be like to get to the point as a society where you actually had snuff film, and it's like you could probably fill up a number of hard drives just with the snuff films that actually exist, even just trying to catalog them. This is somebody actually dying, and you're watching it, and it's desensitizing and a really bad idea, but you're talking to somebody who's still never been persuaded that the internet itself is a good idea.
My newest "the internet is a great idea" on paper is Sean asked about. You wrote something about when you found the original art to the cover of Cerebus #1 at Preeny, and he's like, "Hey, does anybody know where this is?" And I'm like, "You can start to look. You got any idea?" And he's like, "I'm pretty sure it's in the notes for Can 4." And I went, "I have Can 4." I pulled it out, read the notes. I'm like, "I don't see anything about Preeny in here at all." So then I'm thinking, no, was it one of the other Can notes, or was it a weekly update, or was it, the mountain of stuff that is there? It's just sifting through it.
Right.
Like, do you remember when you found it? Like, maybe where you wrote it down?
It was way late. I know that I just sort of despaired of the fact that I would ever see the Cerebus #1 cover. I think it was close to the end of printing, which would have been 2005, 2006, around there. And Kim just said, I've got this cover of Cerebus #1. I've had it under lock and key in my office since you sent it to me. I sent it to him because convention in Windsor, Ontario, which is where Prenny used to be. And it was one of those weird situations where it's like, okay, well, you can tell me about it, and I'm just going to tell you, look, I'm not a feminist, so I'm not considered a human being in our society, and you will find out that that is the situation. And he wanted to do it as it was linked to a benefit for, I think, Easter seals, and it's like, well, okay, you're going to have to go to the Easter seals people and say, this is this guy that I want to invite to my comic book convention, and here's his name. You can Google search it and read as much about him as you want. It was very nice to hear from him. It's like, Kim Prenny's nephew. Kim's retired. He and his wife are both retired. They play a lot of mahjong, and because he described himself as Kim Prenny's nephew, it was okay. So you're on Kim's wife's side of the family. But he said, no, I'm in Kim's family. And I went, okay, well, who's your dad, Dick or John? And it's like, John. And he was like completely astonished that I knew who John Prenny was. He thought, well, he'll know who Kim Prenny was because that's who he dealt with all the time. Like, oh, I remember John Prenny. I remember Dick Prenny. It was just a very, very weird situation. And I said to him, you go ahead and, talk to the Easter Seals people and everybody else. And I can tell you right now, I'm never going to hear back from you again about this. Because as soon as they Google Rich Dave Sim, it'll just be, no, we can't have the Easter Seals associated with anybody in this category. Anybody who says things like this, anybody who has articles like this written about it. And it's like, it makes my life very, very straightforward. And like I say, it was nice to be talking to somebody who's, whatever he is now, he's probably like in his 30s or his 40s, and still remembers going to Prenny and you would get free comic books because Dad printed comic books. Some of the comic books you couldn't get because Dad didn't want you to have those comic books.